Hey guys, what's up? I made a video a couple days ago about the bull market strategy problems and things like that, and I got two really good, kind of skeptical responses from people, and I wanted to talk about them. And the first one was a gentleman saying that basically, like, how do we know that this is not just a dead cat bounce? That the market came down for a long time, and when you have a dead cat bounce, it basically bounces off the bottom, and all of the perma bulls, which I guess like I am, they all say, "Oh, look, we're off the bottom, and now things will be great. It's all looking up, and it's optimistic as sunshine and rainbows," and then it just does like that. And generally, what characterizes a dead cat bounce is that it's very close to this kind of bottom here. So you don't have a long period of time in between kind of arresting the descent of a market and this bounce. And we have had a long time of consolidation in the market. And of course, it varies product to product, section to section of the market, and even, the TCG market compared to the wider economy. And you have to consider all of that. But we've had some products in this market that have been trending sideways for the better part of a year or more than a year. If you look at some of the worst products in the market, like Crimson Vow draft boxes, I mean, those are actually up recently, but they spent a long time way down and trending sideways because they really couldn't go any lower. There were enough buyers who would step in when they got down to $60 that they just stayed kind of at that low level for a long time. And it's similar with a lot of things in the market. We had a long period, say the last 6 months of 2022, and then all of 23 so far, where many products trended sideways. And then some products started to break out of that and start coming up as early as probably November of last year. And so one of the earliest ones I can think of off the top of my head is Arcane Rising Unlimited. And so that started its ascent upwards, boy, 6 months ago now. And similarly, a lot of those early Flesh and Blood Unlimited products and Monarch First Edition, and all of those have been going up now for a couple of months. Now, they've moderated their ascent now that we got the print run numbers and there's a lot more certainty in the market. There's less speculation about how big the print runs are, but they are way up off the lows. And something you don't really expect to see with dead cat bounces, say in a stock market index, is that you would have a long period of consolidation and then you finally start to move up and then it just takes another dive off the cliff. And that kind of brings us into our second comment that another gentleman left, which was, and I don't want to mischaracterize him as overly negative, but basically that he did not have as much faith in the TCG market having a good year this year as I do, because he thinks the outside forces of the wider economy will drag it down. And of course, that's something we always have to be aware of is how does the wider economy affect this small TCG market? Because a lot of this is driven by discretionary income. And if you're in a high inflation environment where people's spending power is getting crunched, that's bad for things like the TCG market. Even though, again, as I always say, we are the weirdos who are here to invest in the stuff and put it in closets for years and then get it out and sell it. Most people buying this stuff buy it to enjoy today. And so they're the bigger drivers of price than we are. And so when they get discouraged by inflation, or let's say unemployment, let's say 6 months from now, unemployment is 8% or something, catastrophic like that, then yeah, we would expect that to have a huge impact on the TCG market because people just would not have the money to be spending on these products. And in that short of a time period, companies like WotC simply cannot move fast enough to reduce print runs and get things under control to keep prices steady. And so, yes, there is concern about the outside market affecting the TCG market over the course of 2023. My feeling on that, though, is we have been waiting for a recession for about 15 months now. And we still think it's coming, and there still is turbulence and turmoil in the wider economy. There still are problems, but the Federal Reserve started raising interest rates like 9 months ago now. They are at what most of us most of us youngish folks would call lifetime highs. I mean, it's like 5% to borrow money for, big banks and stuff now. And we've gone through this previous, 13, 14 years of near zero interest rate or zero interest rate policy, and now suddenly money costs something to borrow again. And so it's this weird different environment that we're just not used to. And the effect that it has on the economy is that it puts a brake on economic activity. It's literally applying the brakes to it and slowing it down. But we've been doing that gradually with interest rates for 9 months now. Businesses have been preparing for the same recession for 15 months now. Where I work, we don't have hiring freezes. We have these odd stuttering on and off hiring freezes. And we have a disinterest in laying anyone off because they're afraid they can't find anyone new to come on when they need somebody for something. And so businesses have been trying to prepare for all this time, and similarly individuals have been trying to prepare. And the point of all this is that as we go further along and we don't hit that recession just yet, then when we do eventually get there, which I think we will, it's not going to be as bad, because all of the money printing and other economic turmoil that shook out of the last 3 years, basically we've been paying the cost of it. There's no such thing as a free lunch, but we've been paying that cost now for 15 months as we all wait for this recession to get here. And as time goes on, I start to shock myself by actually believing that maybe we can engineer that fabled soft landing. And it's funny because I made a video back like last August about wider economic things going on and just kind of my view on things at the time. And somebody in the comments, they left kind of an incredulous question, and they were like, well, do you really think the Fed can get inflation under control? And my response was, well, of course they can. I mean, they can raise the interest rate to 30% overnight. It will get inflation under control. It will annihilate the rest of the economy, but inflation will be under control. So yes, they can. They definitely have the power. And pointing out that kind of absurd edge case is an attempt to try to get people to understand that there are possibilities much closer to sensible things we could do that will maybe also work, or given enough time will work. And that's what we've had since I made that video and I got that comment last August. Now we've had, nearly 9 months for the Fed to slowly increase interest rates, for that constant braking force on the economy to keep acting, to slow things down, to try to put a damper on inflation, and to get everybody to kind of do their part essentially for not only preparing for a recession, but allowing the economy to work and for people to be productive every day, to also begin digging their way out of that economic hole that we dug ourselves into from 2020 to now. And so in light of all of that, yes, there is a lot of chaos and turmoil in the wider economy, but every day I become less and less concerned that it's going to catastrophically drag down the TCG market over the course of 2023. So, I appreciate those kind of comments, and it's good to have those kind of discussions, and it's good to disagree with me because, yeah, I get things wrong. But I'm not worried. I don't want a recession. We're probably going to get one eventually, but I don't think it's going to be like 2008. I don't think it's going to be catastrophic and long-lived and everything like people way out there, like the doomers we'll talk about. And hopefully I've scared most of them off of this channel by now, so they just don't even hang around here. That's my dream. But, these questions about, is this a dead cat bounce? I don't think it is, and obviously I could be wrong. Time could prove me wrong. Maybe by summertime we're back in another cruel summer now of 2023, but I don't see that right now. We have real chase cards in the sets. WotC is figuring out how to do that consistently. Print runs look to have been moderated. Distribution looks to be tightening up. Flesh and Blood print run numbers are way too low for how big the game is. That game keeps expanding. Pokemon, arguably, it crashed in late 2021 when they dumped 6 expansions worth of reprints onto the market in one day and absolutely annihilated the market. And so it's been coming up essentially since the beginning of 22. And at right now, we could say Pokemon is in the manic phase of the market because you have Evolving Skies pushing $400 a box, And when sets take breathers on price ascent, they pull back $5, $20, $25 for a box, which is, 15%. So I think the market is doing great, and I'm not concerned that this is a dead cat bounce. So we shall see. And definitely the gentleman who left that comment, he responded to me, and he said that he was also concerned about the marginal TCG games, like all these Kickstarter startups and other aspects of TCG investment besides sealed product. And I thought those were two good things to point out also, because all those small games, they may have a rough time right now. And yeah, I will make a video on Lorcana soon. I will make one video on it. But all those small games, they're going to have a real tough time because we are not in the manic part of a cycle yet, like we were in late 2020 and early 21, when maybe a lot of those games really tried to get their feet on the ground and get Kickstarters rolling, and now they're trying to deliver product and become established games, and the market is not right now throwing as much money at things like that. And then also you have places like slabbed Pokemon cards. Man, stay out of that. That is just a train wreck. It's no good will ever come from slabbed Pokemon cards unless you're talking about Moonbreon and very, very, very select, exquisite modern cards. There are very few. Now, if you're talking about old stuff, yeah, there's some opportunity there. I don't understand that market, so I don't mess with it, and I don't try to comment on it. So, yeah, I thought all of those comments were good, the responses were good, and the kind of discourse we can have over this kind of stuff is really good, it's healthy, and it's good to try and stimulate each other's thoughts on these ideas so we kind of see around our blind spots and make sure we're not doing something stupid in the long run. So I appreciate the comments from those two guys and everyone else. Let me know what you think. I think that's all I had to talk about today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Join the Patreon.